looks fine. It's all about the lights now. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. The five lights are ahead of the drivers. And the Austria Grand Prix is underway with Crispy on pole position. But it's a brilliant start by Michi. He's already cutting him off into turn one. Getting that first place, forcing him off wide. It's Michi now who leads the Grand Prix. And you see there, Crispy going backwards. What is going on? I have no clue. He leads the Grand Prix ahead of Bezos in second place. Down the inside goes Zydred into turn two. He's gonna get third place. Can you take over for a bit, Sam?
Yes, Crispy went a bit wide. He broke himself into turn one, and he's unfortunately lost a bit of ground, lost a couple of positions. But this is absolute excellent news for the Williams team. This is now Williams 1-2. They can work together here for the beginning part of this race and kind of just dictate the pace amongst themselves. As further down, Dylan and Alfie battling it out, and near the back of the field, I believe that is UKB's Assassin and Klutzy Winter have had a bit of an off as they've lost a few places at the start. The big gainers so far are Jito and Jibjab. Jibjab's up 7 places at the moment, so an absolute storming start from the Alfa Romeo driver.
Yes, indeed. Trying to sort some things out here. Let's go back to the broadcast. Still some technical difficulties.
But yes, anyway, the two Williams just kind of controlling things at the front, as I said. Zydrad obviously has gained that position from Crispy as well. That is, really a bit of a shame for Crispy, as he did not get the best launch off the line as well. Midzi absolutely nailed the start, and yes, I mean, that is just sometimes what can happen from pole position, but Crispy is still a long time to go in this race. Midzi does lead the field from Bezos, Zydrad and Crispy at the top 4. With further down, there is some battling going on, I believe. There's a yellow flag, and that is, there's a bit of a crash here in the midfield as Benz has spun. Not sure what's happened there. And is everything sorted out at the moment? Or...
Well, I don't think so, but we're still trying to continue this. Midzi leads the Grand Prix ahead of Bezos and Zydrad. You see that are both the Williams jumping the McLarens, and now into P1 and 2. Bezos is putting the pressure on his teammate there for P1. Let's just take a look at the tire compound.
Well, Bezos, of course, is on his softs, isn't he? And Midzi is on the medium, so at the moment Bezos has better pace than Midzi.
Are we going to see some team play here, Sam? With Bezos in second place, trying to get past Midzi. Is he going to let him pass, or do you think no team orders here?
I think the issue is here is that if he does decide to let him pass, then in a few laps, his soft compound tyres, Bezos will be slower. So maybe the team play here would be kind of Bezos almost lets Midzi get a little bit of a gap in, and then kind of think about managing it later on, although I'm sure they are going to be in communication for this race. Midzi's not using much battery, and I think he is going to let Bezos go here. So there is a bit of a switcheroo here at Williams. Bezos has taken the lead.
He takes the lead of the Grand Prix on a soft compound tyre. It is expected. His teammate didn't really fight that much. And Zydrad is just behind those two, just watching this battle unfolding here. On board now with the Aston Martin driver in this 4th lap of the Grand Prix. I don't think it's the 4th lap. Maybe it's the game.
It is the 4th lap. It is the 4th lap.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've been counting anyway. DRS was enabled last lap, so should mean it's lap 4. But anyway, at the moment, Bezos had a brilliant start and is now taking the lead on those softs, as you said. As Crispy and Paraquix are maybe looking to battle each other into the 3rd sector. Para had a little look at his teammate. So, do we perhaps see a bit of swap at McLaren? As the yellow flag, as Klutzy Winter has had a spin in his Alpha Tauri. Really not good start. Really not a good start to him in his life in the McKeon division. He's got knocked out in Q1 and has had a bit of a spin.
Indeed, now Zyder, look at how close he's getting to those two. It's really, really close between them. And now Bezos, even though he's on a instead of some of softs. He's struggling. And now in this 5th lap, the DRS is gonna play a massive role here in this Grand Prix 5th lap. Now as they go to this right-hander, and we think that Bezos will be losing so much pace with this going on. Oh, look at that, mid struggling there. But with this going on, that just Bezos, even though he's quick now, he's just carrying the rest of the pack with him, and that is gaining them time and losing him time. He could be, well, he's in a very awkward position here now. He needs to push as hard as he possibly can to get himself into the, well, out of the 1 second window. There's a yellow flag.
Yeah, that is YOLO game. That in the Aston Martin has had a spin as well. Few drivers suffering spins early on. Ben's YOLO game, Klutzy, Winter, and Czech. Also, yellow flag.
Bezos is round.
Bezos is round, and the leader of the race, or was the leader of the race, has had a spin on the exit of turn 1, and that is absolutely gutting stuff for Bezos, as he was running really, really well, but just unfortunately, these things can happen, and he has had a moment, and he is gone. So he's still in this race, and is currently in P16, but that's really going to compromise his race. Pretty much getting himself out of contention for the victory.
Indeed, now he's down to P16, and Midzi is now the new race leader. Zaidran, I mean, that's good for Zaidran, because now Midzi does not have the help of that DRS. Zaidran is going to close in really, really quickly. Let's see what they can do here now. It's really a pack of wolves here following Midzi. Midzi is doing everything he possibly can, but you see there now it's pressure coming from the McLaren drivers towards Zaidran. Zaidran needs to stay within that 1 second. He's closing in on Midzi. Wait, what is happening here? Czech is almost being lapped. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, Czech's pit twice in this race. He's had a really, really poor start to this race. He's had a few spins and lost his front wing a bit, but I think Zaidran is going to try and have a go at Midzi here. Round the outside, going into turn 4, and these two are friends and have a lot of respect for each other. They potentially even are going to be in a party themselves. Zaidran is having a go at him. He's wasting no time whatsoever, and wants this lead of the race, wants this track position to Zaidran, but cannot get through.
Exactly. Now look at Midzi. He needs to stay close, try to get himself close to SLR Czech to get a little bit of that DRS, but he is literally a sitting duck here as Zaidran gets closer and closer each lap. Goes off a little bit wide. Let's see what we can do here. DRS activated on board now again with Zaidran. It could be on for the lead of the Grand Prix in the next few corners now. He's closing quickly. He's gaining, and gaining. Deploying a little bit of his ERS now uphill. This could be the move now. He chose the inside line. He's gonna dive down there. He's gonna get the lead of the Grand Prix, but Midzi is gonna try to get maybe the switchback and the DRS. Now the situation has changed, Sam.
Yes, it has. Zaidran obviously wants to be the driver leading this race. YOLO Gamer has crashed from right near the back of the field and brought out a VSC. So I don't know what's happened there. Oh, it's a full safety car. It is a full safety car that has been deployed. And what do these drivers do now? They're on the medium compound tyres. Do they pit? Do they stay out? This is a very difficult decision.
Oh, I think... Hold on a second. Although... Okay, the safety car is being deployed. And, yeah, let's go. Let's continue. Apparently, some of the overlays back. So let's see who's gonna pit. Dylan is gonna bail into the pits and get himself a fresh new tire compound. Let's see where he's gonna go to. Pitting out. Oh, look at the amount of smoke coming out of the back of that car. He's come out, I believe, in P13 as Bezos stays out. And the safety car now is gonna change the race completely with the strategy here. Zaidran will be still leading.
Yes, it is. I mean, there's a few drivers who have pitted, of course, under the safety car. And to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that people on softs, especially people like Bezos, who was down in P12 anyway, have not come into the pits, because Because for Bezzers, I mean, it's pretty much a free stop. He's going to lose positions, obviously, to those who are ahead of him anyway. But if I'm Bezzers here, I think about pitting probably for a set of mediums and maybe switch to a two-stop or try and stretch those to the end of the race. It's pretty much your only saving grace at this stage of the race is that pit stop, given how old his soft compound tyres are. You've just got to throw the dice in, as all of these drivers who have gone onto hards are doing. Because hards should take to the end of the race quite comfortably, so yes, really interesting situation with these drivers here. As a couple of people have gone into the pits, and that is Jitto has gone into the pits from the softs. Dylan has gone into the pits from his hards. So it's changing off of them, and presumably he's going to put on a set of mediums, I assume, as Jitto has gone for a set of mediums himself.
Exactly. And he's going to probably try to get those set of tires to the end. SLR Dylan is pitting again. Now on for a set of mediums. I'm quite sure they can make it to the end. And
yeah, they should make it to the end, but they'll be very, very warm come the end of the race. Or potentially maybe switching to a two-stop. One thing that is for certain, though, especially those drivers on the mediums, they're going to be a lot quicker than these guys who have chosen not to pit. That is for certain. Going to gain so much time.
Exactly. What's your opinion, Sam, now on the hard compound tires at this stage? Do you think they will be quicker towards the end? What do you think?
I think the logic behind the hard compound tires is that chances are they're going to stay in a DRS train that they'd be staying in anyway, because the hards will have better pace than the old mediums, and then just as the laps go on, just lap after lap after lap, the hards will just continue to be quicker and quicker as they just don't wear that much at all.
Exactly. Now the safety car will stay out for another lap as Adler still leads the Grand Prix. Let's just take a look now instead of the tires. Oh, the 5-second time penalty.
Oh no!
Jam! What's happened there?
Oh, Jam has spun under the safety car and has had a collision with Klutzy Winter to boot as well, whilst he was joining the track under the safety car. And well, I mean, Klutzy is out of the race, and I don't really know what to say about that. Jam has just, unfortunately, just overcooked it and spun his rears under the safety car, and then middle of the track had no Winter just hit him basically, and it's now out of the race as Jam has dropped down to last position but has put on a set of mediums whilst doing so. So Jam was the lead driver on the hards who did not have a penalty, so for him that's really compromised his race. He could have been on for a very tidy result, but instead now he's going to have a fight to get back up and catch the safety car.
Okay, so the safety car is in this lap, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go back racing in just a few seconds. Try to sort the leaderboard out, but seems like we won't be having leaderboard for this race, maybe the next one. But Zadred still leads. To see everyone who spitted, Zadred will lead the pack into turn 1, and as soon as he go off, it's gonna be all running and green flags. So as I say that, he rounds the final 2 corners.
He's going very, very late here as Zadred, and he now chooses now to go. And we are back away once again as Zadred takes us into turn 1 at 0.2 of a second clear of Midzi, and nothing is going to change in relation to this train. It is still as frenetic as ever, as Jitto is making a move on his medium tyres in the background, goes up into P13 on those fresh mediums. Could he be one to look out for later on this race? He's in the fresh tyres.
Oh, and look at that. Crispy and Power Quicks on the same compound tires, really close to one another, but it's really, really close between everyone. Let's be honest here. Zadred needs to take those 2 laps that he has and push as hard as he can. Midzi now is still really, really close to him. That's the fight we're having here, but further back we have Saint T and Jitto fighting here. He's gonna go on the outside, not gonna be able to get the move on here. Oh, and Bezos has spun. Bezos has spun round. He's off the track. He's into the walls. Bezos, who was in the top 5 at the start of the race, is gonna drop down to P18. And that is really a shame for the Williams driver. His race has been really compromised now. But we turn our attentions to the front of the grid, still really close. Everyone on the top 10 on 12 lap old mediums. And I gotta ask you, Sam, do you think those laps... Oh, what's happening?
This is a spot again from the back of the field. But yeah, what were you gonna say in terms of question for something?
Yes, about the medium compound tires. Do you think those top 11 or top 10 need to pit again, or do you think those tires can make it to the end?
Well, the top 10 has started on those medium compound tyres, so they have to pit again. They have to pit again. Jitto is the only driver... No, Jitto is the lead driver who does not have to pit if he does want to stretch those mediums out to the end of the race. I think they do go to the end of the race from here, but it will be a bit of a stretch. But yes, I do expect everyone ahead of Jitto to definitely have to pit again, and we could see Jitto at some point, if he does choose to try and stretch these out to the end, be leading this race. As he's coming up to his teammate now. And will his teammate just let him go here, or will he be wanting to fight for his own position? Jitto is definitely going to be on the faster tyres, so it might be in Beat's best interest to kind of let him go and kind of cut through the traffic along with Jitto as Zydra picks up his first penalty of the race. That is crucial for this one, as Alfie picks up one just mere seconds later.
Wow, penalties will really be a factor here, I know that. You see the stops, so the top 10 are yet to pit. Everything is gonna happen in this Grand Prix. So look at that, Alfie and race fighting there. It's Alpine versus Mercedes. They're going wheel to wheel. It's a drag race towards turn 4. Who's gonna be able to stay in front? It's all about who's gonna break the latest. That's gonna be the Mercedes, who's gonna be all the way around the outside of that Alpine, but he doesn't give up. They're still wheel to wheel. They're side by side, but who's gonna come around in front? Breaking late is gonna be the Mercedes, gonna overshoot the corner and get that P6. It's all about track position now as Alfie tries to get himself in front, and well, Zydred with 6 attempts ahead of Midisby is able now to stretch his legs just a little bit, trying to stay himself away from this pack. And Crispy is now the driver putting the pressure on Midzy. Only 2 attempts separating them.
Indeed, only 2 tenths separating them, and well, Zydred with his penalty has now basically put Midzy as the effective leader of this race. So the battle between Crispy and Midzy will be the battle for the lead. They have battled here before, so they're going to be doing some battling again. As further down the field, Riggs was on the attack on Alfie, but is now on the defensive as V2 has just gone around his outside. With Jitto looking to make a move on Jib Jab as well. But Dylan is looking racing behind as well. Dylan is on those fresh mediums.
Oh, look at Jib Jab trying to go for on the outside. He's going to touch the back, and there's a big crash. It's a big collision here. And there's Jitto spun around. Chuck has been collected. Oh my goodness, everything is happening here. Oh, Jitto is out of the race.
Jitto is indeed out of the race, and from what I saw there was like a bit of collision between Jitto and Jib Jab, and that caused Jib Jab to spin around and his car in the middle of the circuit. I can only assume that meant that Jitto hit it again, and then it just kind of caused bumper cars, and eventually just led to Jitto crashing out of the race. And that is really important here, as he was the lead medium runner who has pitted, sorry, the lead driver who had pitted. But that person now is Dylan, as he's going to try and make a move on Riggs. Dylan is in a really good position now on those fresher mediums. Could potentially be one to look out for right to the end of the race, but Riggs is not going to give up that position without a fight. As he comes right through. Oh, there's even those flags. Jam and Jib Jab and others are potentially having offs as well. It's all going on here.
Indeed, so the grid order we're looking at now, well, it probably won't be the same at the end of the race with those drivers needing to pit again. SLR Dylan trying to close in on the driver ahead of him. That is the Alpine of Riggs. He gets a nice exit approaching the final 2 corners, and he won't be able to get past him in this occasion. But now Crispy is still trying to go for that move on Midzy as much as he can, deploying his ERS. And the top 3 are Zydred, Midzy, and Crispy. Is he going to be able to get a good exit here? just looking at it,
Crispy
and
does really want to pass Minzy here, but the issue is that they're both in the DRS of Zydra, so it was that situation that the Zydra had earlier on in the race with, of course, Paraquix, of course, Bezzers in P1, and that was that DRS was going to be a factor, and they kind of just equalised out a bit. So it's all about straight line speed, and they're probably running very similar setups, if not the same setup. So as Jib Jab had retired in the pits after that off, I believe, but his car's, I think, still going round somewhere. Oh no, it's not, that Jam. Ignore me.
yeah, Jib Jab is out of the race. He retired in the pitch, but somehow his car is still.
One thing I want to say, look at the gap to leader. Dylan is 3 seconds off the lead on those fresher medium tyres. He is looking so racy here, so racy as Dylan.
Indeed, look at Dylan with his shoe start. Dylan could be on for a race win here. Let's see. Well, I'm really excited as we reach lap 18 of this Austrian Grand Prix. Everything could be happening towards the end. We could be seeing Dylan into the lead of the Grand Prix. But he needs to keep up the pace. He needs to carve his way through the field. Alfie is losing place after place as he goes off the track.
Wheel. That looks like Alfie's wheel has died.
Oh.
He just suddenly yeah. If you just go on board with him and he can just barely move his car at all, and his car's going to park up and probably disqualify itself at this rate. That is a real shame. He was running in a really good position, was Alfie, but wheel issue has clearly befallen him, and he's essentially just trapped. He's hopefully trying to reset his wheel and stuff, but yeah, that is not good whatsoever.
Oh, look at that race roller.
First driver who was on those older mediums to come into the pits. So this is signifying the start of the pit stops. He's going for the undercut here onto the softs. He thinks he can take them 18 laps. That's pretty bold from Race Roller, it must be said. But will this cause the others to react?
Well, you never know, a safety car could come out, and I'm pretty sure his teammate SLR Dylan is praying that doesn't happen. He made his way past Riggs, further back, Santee, a new KB's assassin, trading positions on the compound. Is Santee is going to move up into P8, another driver that could be on for a great result here. Of course, he has penalties, but if he keeps up this pace, he could be on for maybe a podium position. He's in P8 now, could be moving up some places, and I'm really looking as Zydra as his whole race. Even though his lead, he's probably won't be staying there for long. He's been able to hold off Midzi through the past 2 laps, and that is a really nice performance. And look at that, someone is coming into the pits. That's Paraquix now.
Yes, this is the pit stop phase for those soft compound tyres. Really kicking off. The drivers in the middle of the pack are going for that undercut, as Czech has had a spin in the middle sector, so hopefully he can right his car and does not cause anyone else any bother. But yes, the various drivers now are going for the undercut. So Race Roller has the undercut Paraquix. He was behind him. This is the first one that will be key to look out for. And yes, he has. Race Roller has undercut Paraquix by over a second. And I think Race Roller could be leading this. Well, I say leading this race. I don't think he'll be completely leading this race, but he could be leading the runners who have to pit again. That is for sure. Paraquix was in P4, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's all over the place, isn't it, Sam? We really don't know how the finishing order will be, and we have literally no clue. Let's see which one of these drivers is going to bail into the pit. Oh, that's V2X Combat now pitting alongside Crispy. Zydra is going to stay out along with Midzi, but those two will be pitting. Who else will? Only the pair of them. And you see that Dylan just storming into 3rd place already.
Yes, Dylan is. Well, they're going to have to make up an entire pit stop on Dylan. An entire pit stop, and I'm not over-exaggerating, because he is on those mediums that are going to hopefully take him to the end of the race. That is what he's going for. And wow, I mean, Dylan is in a very good position here as Race Roller and Paraquix had undercut Crispy. But Para is going to go up the underside of Race Roller here into turn 3.
Indeed, now Race Roll is trying to go back at him. Both have DRS. Oh, sorry, just Power Quicks makes his way past the Red Bull driver and is into P8, trying to get as many positions as he possibly can on a set of softs. You never know, the safety car could come out and end Dylan's hopes of a good race. Oh, look at that, he goes into second place now as the top two pit, as everyone who is on a old set of mediums pit. So at this point, everyone is pitted apart from Alfie, and Dylan is now the leader of the Grand Prix. He is ahead of the hard competitor of Saint T, who's been looking to take a second place. What a result that would be for the
This is an
AlphaTauri
absolute
driver.
masterclass from Dylan in strategy, I have to say, because and one thing that would help him is his teammate Race Roller getting ahead of Paraquix. Race Roller is on the oldest set of softs out of anyone who has pit onto them, but is currently P2 in this train, which is currently headed by Paraquix, as the undercut well and truly worked for them. Zyder and Crispy, Zyder and Midzi have lost positions to V2,
look at
Crispy,
that. 3
Race
wide going
Roller
on
and
here.
Para.
Oh,
Yes,
look, Race Roller trying to defend
outside of Paraquix,
both
and they're going to be going wheel to
McLarens.
wheel here.
Well, apparently the Roller is going to come out in front of both the McLarens there. Really tight fight. It's a fight between the soft runners here, so whoever is in front is going to have a huge advantage when they approach the hard runners, especially those who have penalties. So that is going to be a big factor in this Grand Prix. Remember that. Everyone's pitted. And Saint-T, look at that. Moved up 16 places. This is brilliant stuff. But moving 16 places, looking to move up 17 if he makes his way past Ephraim in this following laps. He has the DRS, he has the help of that. He needs to go for the move now if he wants a good place. Is he gonna go for the big dive? He will. He goes gonna go for the big lunge into turn 4. Is he gonna be able to get the position though? They're wheel to wheel now, but I believe Ephraim is gonna get the advantage now. But he's not gonna give up that easily. Tries to stick himself into the outside there. He's gonna eventually lose the position to Ephraim.
Race Roller, Crispy, Midzi, Race Roller, Crispy, Para 3 wide. Para keeps the position. This is absolute mega stuff as whilst that was going on between Ham and Sainty, as these guys are just fighting amongst each other at the moment, and they need to stop fighting amongst each other because they're 14 seconds behind Dylan. They're 10 seconds behind Ham and Sainty. So as V2 picked up a time penalty, but yeah, suddenly just Dylan's absolute masterful idea of pitting twice under that safety car, once for the hards, once for the mediums.
And now
It's what
Saint-T.
an absolute treat. Is what an absolute treat, and he is leading the race by a mile. That is
Exactly, Saint-T is now into second place, but Ephraim won't be giving up that easily. Those two have been fighting a lot, but down the inside goes Ephraim and back into second place. Really aggressive there, saying, give me back that place, I do not care. But the thing is, this is Austria, so the DRS will be huge here. Race Roller trying to get himself closer to Paraquix, but Ham and Saint-T fighting like their lives depending on it here for P2. Saint-T has that penalty that could be compromising his race, but he's still fighting. You never know. There's still 12 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Ham could be getting a penalty here, and you know how easy that is to happen on board now with the AlphaTauri into turn 1. He's so close. Saint-T with another time penalty, and that is going to compromise his race in another level.
I think it's probably worth more keeping an eye on the battle for P5 here. That's the important one of the chasing pack, as it has been absolutely frenetic. Look how large this train is.
Oh, look at that. Unlapping himself is, I believe, Alfie. But look at that, another battle happening between those two. Those two have been fighting. Oh, no, I wouldn't say all race, but for the past 6 laps, it has been all those two. As Race Roller now gets his way past the Paraquix. Oh, and after Jama has DNF'd. That could bring out the safety car, although he's pitted. So he's DNF'd in the pits. And let's see how this race unfolds. Race Roller is closing on the pack. Now I ask you, Sam, this is it's that part of the race that I gotta ask. Do you think Race Roller can maybe get a podium in this situation here.
Oh, I think he could technically get safety on penalties, as same team's been racking up a few of them. But if I'm being honest, I can't see how he's going to catch the top three, because there's a bit of an issue with timings on my timing screen, but
yeah,
hopefully they sort each other out at some point.
Oh, dive down the inside here. There's a dive and there's the spin. Race roller has been spun round by the McLaren there. They have made contact. I'm not sure if that was Quicks or if that was Crispy.
And whilst this is going on, Midsy's gone out of the inside of Zydrad, but he's hit V2 whilst doing it. And Midsy's taken the position of Zydrad, and that is pivotal for this race, as Midsy and Zydrad were on the newest tyres out of all of these drivers. But wow, I mean, I said that these guys would be holding each other up, the likes of Race One with Crispy and the others, but I didn't expect them to be crashing into each other. That is certainly not going to help their chances of catching the leading pack. And I mean, Dylan surely in an unassailable position now. They've hardly closed in on him at all.
Oh, look at Abraham now.
To worry about.
Moving up to second place, trading places again with him and Paraquicks now getting ahead of Cooper Benz on a set of hearts. His teammate V2 is going to move up a place as well. Everyone is getting past him now. He's literally a sitting duck in this situation, trying to defend from Midsy, who goes up into 6th place. Could be getting that move on V2 at the end of this straight. Tank goes back to second, but is Midsy going to go for the big lunge? He could be going for that move. V2 goes defensive here, but he won't be getting no moves here now. Cooper Benz is fighting here, everything going on, everyone fighting here, but there's a move going on. Beast Assassin trying to go around the outside, and he's gonna go for it, trying to make his stick. Crispy is gonna be opportunist and get the move done on UK Beast Assassin for a P9. Literally everything happening in this Grand Prix in the 27th, now the 28th lap of the race. Grand Prix.
This is truly bizarre. I mean, the drivers under the safety car have been, the drivers who have made the pit stops under the safety car have been absolute geniuses, really, as these guys, they've been fighting and they've not closed in on them at all. As here we go, Para and V2 and Midsy are battling it out for P4. V2's got the position on Para, and Midsy snuck up the inside of him as well. They're going wheel to wheel here, Midsy and Para. Brilliant racing here as Midsy could potentially have V2 as well. Oh, he nearly goes into the back of him, but makes up the place nonetheless. Midsy has moved his way up into P4.
Oh my god,
oh no!
They're out of the race! They're out of the race! Oh my goodness! They have made contact! The Ferrari of V2X Combat and Paraquicks came together just like Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel in this year's Austria Grand Prix. They're out, and that's going to promote Zydrad into P5, Cooper Benz and Crispy to P6 and P7. Crispy trying to get some moves. Those last few laps have been simply fantastic, marvelous. I don't even have any adjectives that can describe what's happening in this Grand Prix, but Crispy is going for early moves here into turn 1. We haven't been seeing too many of those. He's gonna try to go for the move. There's a hat going up in the background. Crispy's gonna go for P6. He's gonna get the move done, but Riggs could be joining the back here. He's gonna go on the inside, maybe 2 drives at the same time. He's gonna dive down the inside of the Ferrari, fight for that position. He's gonna get it, and into P7 he goes. What a great Grand Prix we're having so far. Everything happening, and look at that. What a race.
What a race. I mean, there's been, lots of action going on. I mean, I have to be honest, the stewards' room may be a bit busy after this one, because
absolutely. Absolutely.
There's been so many incidents to talk about, really, but...
Well, something happening with V2X Combat. He's moved back some places. Crispy as well. What's happened to Crispy? He's losing place after place. Oh my goodness, there's a move happening here. Look at that. Oh, Bisa Safi trying to go for the move now. Went backwards. Make contact with Crispy. Oh, he's going backwards again. Everything is going on in this Grand Prix. What a brilliant Grand Prix we're having. V2X Combat into P10. Now look at that. Down the inside, side by side between Riggs and Cooper Benz. And I believe now with Cooper Benz without the DRS is going to be sitting there again, losing another place. The fight for P6 is simply fantastic. Never seen anything better. And it's still going on. Race roll, and you can be Assassin is literally a good battle to watch, but it's Rora into the points here. And goodness me, can this battle please stop? Well, I don't think you will now, as they try to go for moves here. Crispy trying to get back on Riggs. When with this battle going on, they're literally 5 seconds behind Midzi, who's in second place, as Bezos gets a time penalty. And I need some water because I'm losing my voice here.
Yeah, as I've seen Jam in the chat said that he would have been looking good for a podium if it will actually worked. And I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously we saw Jam spin under the safety car, and I think Jam was ahead of Sainty at the time as well. So, yeah, perhaps would have been. But someone who is looking very good for a good result is Dylan. Whilst all of this has been going on, he's just kind of been sat there, just managing his ERS, managing his pace, managing his tyres on those 20-lap-old mediums, and has an absolutely brilliant lead as Crispy goes up the inside of Riggs. This is just all kinds of things and just all kinds of carnage. It's...
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
yes, I need some water as well. That is for certain.
Yeah, this is really, really a great battle in the mid-pack there.
As Zydrad and Midzi are now caught up to begin the battle for the podium.
And we approach that point in a race, Sam, in which we have to look at the penalty. Saint-T is going to lose so many places after those 12 seconds added to his lap, to his race time. Afraham has 3 seconds.
That's the plus side for Saint-T.
Look at that, Midzi jump into second place all of a sudden. That is, I mean, what can we say? And Dylan is somehow still leading the Grand Prix, but by quite a margin. As you see that Cooper Benz has gone off and he has no front wings. Oh, there's an incident going on here at the back. The Ferrari is wingless now. And oh my goodness me. Yuki Beats Assassin is now into P10, but Dylan, 7.2 second lead. This guy is my driver of the day. He's doing a fantastic job so far.
I completely agree. Owen said that it was smart from Dylan to make those 2 pit stops under the safety car.
Oh, look at that fight.
Owen, you are absolutely right. It was more than smart from Dylan. It was genius. But he is still going to have a raging Zydrad and Midzi, who will want something to say about his final race position at the end of the race, as Zydrad is hounding the back of FRA Ham 19.
Oh, look at that. Rick's trying to go for moves here. This end is kicking off. Everything is going on in this Grand Prix, and I'm looking at the chat here for the first time. Chicken Rosary says this is amazing to watch, and there's never been a time that I've looked at the chat and I've agreed with him more. As right now he's going for moves on Afraham. He needs that if he wants to get maybe a P3 now into 3rd place. He needs to try to pull away as much as he possibly can. I know it's not easy, but Zydrad's got the pace to do that and maybe get into the podium positions. And look at the Afraham and his and Midzi changing positions. Ham is losing a place and down to P5. Midzi with no penalties is chasing down after Zydrad, but don't count any of those drivers out because there's still 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix. What a brilliant race we're having.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. As now the battle will now commence for P2 as Midzi and Zydrad have dispatched of FRA Ham, but are now going to have to think about Sainty. Zydrad is going to approach him first. He does have those penalties, of course, as Dylan picks up one himself. Ooh. Could that be crucial? Can Midzi gain? He needed to gain 8 seconds, which did look pretty much impossible in the last few laps against Dylan. But, well, I mean, we've seen stranger things happen. A mistake from Dylan.
Oh, look at Zydrad.
Issue with his tyres. Potentially Midzi could get within that 3 seconds of him. It's maybe doable. Maybe. The nerves are definitely going to be setting in for Dylan. As Zydrad has taken the position on Sainty.
Exactly. Now we turn our attentions to V2X Combat, who's gonna breeze past Crispy into turn 4. Down here he goes, gets the place, no problemo for V2X Combat. Ferrari is gonna move up a place, but he does have those 6 seconds added to his race time, so he will be finishing further back. Of course, if he finishes like this. And Saint T is now looking at his mirrors and he sees Mitzi, who's probably gonna get past him in no time. I don't think Dylan is gonna lose this lead. He's doing a nice job. All he has to do is just cruise to the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't know how worn his tyres are, of course. They have got 24 laps, those mediums. They're not going to be pretty, but the drivers behind him, they're just so far back that it's going to be really difficult. Zyder is closing in, but I mean the gap's still 6 seconds, and he is well and truly holding firm.
Well, here we go again now. Crispy getting the place back. He was ahead on penalties, trying to get ahead on track, trying to go around the outside of the Ferrari. Is he gonna be able to get the move done? He's trying everything he can. Oh, he won't be able to. He knows that race roller is just 8 attempts behind him. Therefore, he will be moving back a place if he doesn't overtake Combat and pull away, which is not easy. Well, Zadra has been able to keep everyone at bay as he starts the final lap now. All he has to do is to finish this Grand Prix. And this is the final lap of the Grand Prix.
One lap left, and I feel like we need to give a little bit of time to Dylan, although I don't think we really could afford to, because V2 Crispy Riggs are still battling it out.
Exactly. This is the final lap, but Crispy and V2 now going side by side into turn 3. Oh, look at that. Crispy just getting ahead, but V2 in the perfect position to get it back. Oh, he has 9 seconds added to his race time. He's gonna get P6, but that in the end won't really matter. And Race Roll is losing a place here now. Riggs, him and Riggs fighting, but Dylan, who goes now around the final 2 corners. This man has done a fantastic job so far. For the first time this season, he's gonna see the checkered flag to win the Austrian Grand Prix. SLR Dylan is the Grand Prix winner. Zajdad is gonna finish in 2nd place, but is gonna move down to P3. Mincy is gonna get 2nd ahead of Zajdad and Santi. Ephraim is gonna get that place. Let's see the finishing order. Race Roller is gonna jump everyone and get into that 4th place. What a brilliant race result for Race Roller.
No penalties.
Exactly, ahead of both the Alpines of Ephraim and Riggs. Santi finishes B7 after a decent race by himself. After the penalties, ahead of Crispy, V2X Combat, and UKB's Assassin.
Wow, what a race. Oh, what a race. And I mean, Dylan, that race was won by him under the safety car, it must be said. And, well, Mizzy 3 seconds back on him. And you have to think, if they hadn't been battling so much, those drivers who'd gone for that medium-soft strategy, could Mizzy have potentially got any closer to Dylan? It's... anyway, what an absolutely mega drive from Dylan. His first ever victory in the top division of SLR, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely buzzing with that.
Absolutely. SLR Dylan, he has managed to get into the podium this season, but a win is a win, and he's done it. Red Bull driver is gonna go home with 25 points here, 4 points in Austria. And what a result, what a race we've had. So many overtakes, so many moments to remember. I mean, we've been through all the stages here. We've gone through everything. Heartbreak, everything, you name it. What a Grand Prix we've had, and I'm really glad I could commentate that one. The Dutch driver is gonna finish in 1st ahead of Midzi in 2nd place, and Zajdad. So Sam, if you could invite them to the party, that would be...
I have. And someone who's got, and also interestingly, Zajdad's got the fastest lap of the race.
Oh.
So that's good for him as well. So that's another extra point, as well as his podium position. But I mean, what a race! And I mean, undoubtedly, that safety car is what changed the race. But it is Dylan in the Red Bull who has taken the victory, followed by Mizzy and Zydrad.
Exactly. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to get the championship standings because I've had a little bit of I've had some technical issues with the overlay, but next week I will try to fix that and bring it back for the race. Now, should we start with P3 or P1, Sam?
I think we'll go P3, P2, P1. How do you want to do the interviews? I'll take first and you take second and third.
Yes, I mean, if you want to talk to, I know you want to talk to Dylan, who wouldn't? So let's talk now with Zydrad, who's finished third. I believe he is listening and in the party. So Zydrad, well, that was a good start of the Grand Prix for you. There was a point that you were leading the Grand Prix. You've managed to hold off Midzi. I mean, you show that you had the pace to win the Grand Prix, but the safety car came out and everything changed. So after you pitted, even though you lost a lot of places, you managed to make a comeback. So just give us your perspective on what happened in that Grand Prix and how are you feeling right now?
Pretty pleased, considering I didn't think I'd get this well. Yeah, I think I had the pace to win there, but stupid mistakes of mine got me pens, obviously. And people behind me, obviously, no pens, very clean. And just managed to beat me. When it comes to the safety car, didn't realise the mediums would last that long. As well as, I got quite fortunate that as soon as I overtook Mizzy, the safety car came out. But yeah, the most pivotal, pivotal? Is that the right word? The most crucial.
Pivotal.
Like, the most crucial part of the race was the undercut. I think the undercut was way more powerful than I think any of us really expected. And fighting through that traffic with just absolute pure chaos ahead of us did not help our case. I think had we got the strat call right, I think me and Midzu, we could have definitely been right on Dylan's tail for the win. But nonetheless, Dylan showed some good, consistent pace, and all fair play to him.
Exactly. So congratulations on that P3. And now
Cheers.
We move on to Mr. Second Place, or as well, I should say, the championship leader. And now you have extended your championship lead. That is another great result by yourself. And well, with this great result, I gotta ask you, well, a little bit about the race. I wanna get your perspective as well, but I wanna talk about the championship too. How are you feeling in this championship? Do you feel like you're gonna run away with this title, or do you feel like maybe the next few rounds won't be that nice for you? How do you feel?
I don't really want to say, to be honest. The next few tracks are usually good tracks for me, but yeah, obviously, I guess you need a bit of luck and everything to go with it. So I don't really know just yet.
Yeah. And about your race, well, I mean, everything happened in that race. Let's be honest here. You could be on for a win. You were fighting for a win. But again, the safety car changed everything, and along with Zydrad, you made a comeback. Without the with the drivers had a lot of penalties, so you moved up a few places as well. So, do you think that was the biggest factor here in this race, or do you think that it was maybe the consistency? How are you feeling with this result?
Obviously, I mean, it's still another podium, so I'm happy. But yeah, it was that safety car. It was weird. He said it was a VSC, and usually Jeff says when it turns into a safety car. Obviously, all the HUD changed on the screen, but I was just focusing on not hitting Zydrad at the time. I just didn't have a clue. I didn't realise. I thought Dylan still hadn't pitted because he was behind me when I went into the pits. I didn't even realise, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, at that point, when I realised Dylan obviously was going to the end, I was just trying not to get penalties, and obviously Zyder was really strong on the softs, so I was just trying to stay with him. And yeah, just done what I needed to do really.
Okay, congratulations on your second place. And now down to you, Sam.
Yes, the race winner with his first victory in the top division, SLR Dillon. Well, you'll see if you watch the race back, Owen mentioned in the chat that it was very, very smart from you pitting twice under that safety car, once for the hards and then once for the mediums, as the mediums do go to the end of the race from that period just about. But yeah, talk us through your race. Until that safety car, until that decision, it looked like it perhaps be a bit of a quiet one. So how do you feel? Talk us through it.
Yeah, throughout qualifying, it's just a mess really. Spun like 3 times, I think. I just wasn't in the mood really. And then I was just going into the race with like on neutral. I was like, well, we'll see if we can get points again after like 3 rounds of nothing. Then that safety car came out, which is so crucial. I just gambled on mediums again after putting on the hards. I had no clue whether it's gonna take me to the end, but Austria is obviously a big train. So I was like, if I can just keep up with the train, everyone else pits, then I have a chance of like getting a top 5 was in my mind. And then I thought, yeah, well, P1, it's such a good feeling. It's really good.
Yes, indeed. I believe that's your 3rd podium of the season. You said you'd just be happy with podiums in this division. Not had the best last few rounds. Of course, you were in a leading position in Canada a couple of races ago, battling with Midzi, but circumstances in that race meant that you didn't convert it. Do you feel like a winner's been coming, or do you feel like this is just something just come suddenly and it's just get in, just kind of just take it as it comes?
Well, if I say wins are on the road and coming, then I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself. I mean, yeah, I've just been really maybe in a bad mood throughout the races, complaining about some incidents, which I shouldn't do because it's racing. Just wanting that first win, I guess, and now it's finally there. It's such a good feeling. Wins are coming. I have no clue. I mean, some people in this division are so quick. We'll see. I mean, some good tracks are coming up apart from Silverstone, so hopefully just score some decent points there. But again, winning in this division is actually incredible.
Yeah, of course, getting on to winning in this division. Well, I mean, you were there 2 seasons ago. Had that season in Division 1 last season, and well, a third of the season in 3 podiums. How has the season gone in the top division? Kind of compared to your expectations, how happy are you with how your season's gone so far? First season back in the top division.
Well, I can't lie, it helps that ABS is super OP this year, so everyone, there you go, I'm an ABS fraud. No, I mean, from the get-go, from the start, from the F1 start game, I knew ABS was OP, and I was fast because of that as well. So I knew there was some chance at like podiums, top 5s, but like at the beginning of the season, I would spoke with Czech and Bunny about it. It's like if you get top 8s, top 10s, we're really pleased with that. But then to fight for wins, fight for podiums is incredible. And well, as long as this season keeps on going like that, I'm over the moon. So yeah, it's good. It's a really good feeling.
Well done, mate. And first win of the season.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I think that's all we got time for. That is the end of the weekend.
Indeed, and well, what a race that was, Sam. What a thank you for being with me in this Grand Prix. Lovely race, and I guess that's it. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for being here with us in this Grand Prix, and we will be back live and uninterrupted for the British Grand Prix next week. And I'll see you there.